when the reality is still destroying you. We're going to come back to this in a minute. One wrote, maybe we need the Klan back. Of course, they haven't gone, really. And he described himself as a veteran, a voter, and a taxpayer. Tony Brown, of course, mentioned, Tony Brown did a show, a series of shows here locally some weeks back. And as a result of that, he wrote that many white Christians think that black people don't pay taxes. You know, they don't think black people have been to war and all this. So this guy writes as a veteran, a voter, and a taxpayer. Somehow, you know, we don't do these things. Raising the specter of racism in education, the task force, that is the task force that wrote the report, said New York's history courses overemphasize the contributions of white Europeans and minimize the accomplishment of minorities and largely ignores wrongs committed by whites against others. Critics accuse the task force of trying to drive a wedge between the races. What a game. Oh, we've been together all this time, I guess. They say the state's education leaders should be more concerned with crumbling schools, high dropout rates, and drug addiction, as if these things are not related to the other things. Columnist George Will ended the report, called the report Affirmative Action Run Amok. He said the perverse attempts to purge American culture of Eurocentrism ignore the fundamental truth that the central ideas behind American institutions come from Europe. Says that's exactly the point. They come from Europe. I think the report should be thrown away. Diane Ravitch, a history professor at Columbia University's Teachers College, the premier teachers college, right? The one that you're all so proud to get your degrees from? The American Federation of Teachers President Albert Shanker, condemning the report's finding, labeled it the Sobol report, that is the commissioner, state commissioner. A recent profile of Governor Mario Cuomo in New York Magazine cited the report in dismissing the Sobol as one of Cuomo's less than brilliant commissioners, and so forth. So why are these people objecting then to history and the history of African people? We must recognize then, ladies and gentlemen, that history is more than merely remembering one's past. That history is a very practical thing. Those of you in psychology no doubt have studied the abnormality referred to as amnesia. And if you haven't, look it up and see the effects amnesia has on various patients. You think often that not knowing your history in no way harms you, but certainly it does. As a matter of fact, you are more a victim of history by not knowing it than in knowing it. What happened to African people during the slavery period is pressingly present in the youngest black child today. We must recognize that in the human mind, there is no such thing as the past. In the human mind, the past is always present. And everything you do, every way you look at the world and relate to other people in the world, every way you interpret the world, the very way you move your body, the very way you talk is the result of your historical experience. When we talk about the so-called black dialect, the way black people talk, it's just not merely a way we communicate with each other. The very way we speak, the very words we use, the very tonalities we speak, reflect a history. Just talking to our children passes on a history to them. No matter what you are saying, your very voice represents the historical experience. I will talk a bit later on then to have you understand that the psychology of our children is different from that of the psychology of white children. the psychology you are studying in this college are incorrect and are going to make you dumber. And in many ways, with all your good intention, send you out to cripple these children and to cripple black people as a whole. Because the psychology of a people, just as the psychology of an individual, develops from the experience of that people, as they develop from the experience of the individual. To understand your own individual psychology, a person must understand your own history and experience. They cannot take the psychology of another person based on their history and experience and explain yours. Neither can you take the psychology of another people with a different history and experience and destiny and use that psychology to understand yourselves and to understand your children. And now can you take that psychology and appropriately educate your children and direct your own destiny? It is impossible. And yet you have classrooms filled with general and introductory psychologists written by white men and women, and think you're learning some neutral, non-political psychology. No such thing as a neutral and non-political psychology. There is no neutral and non-political course in this institution, and I'm talking even about physics, mathematics, and computer science. I heard some joking, I'm like, there is no black chemistry. There is no black physics. Lies. Lies. Because you must understand that chemistry and physics and mathematics and all flows from the consciousness and mind of man. They do not exist apart from that. That science flows from the political and social and economic organization of a people. Science just does not pop up in the minds of geniuses. People must exist in a particular political, social, historical context in order for science to develop and to flourish. And unless you know the historical, political context in which science is created and motivated, you will not create science. You will then educate some people who can think in science, and then those same people will be used by your enemies to destroy you and your children. If you saw the program the other evening about blacks in space, how many of you saw that Monday? Those Negroes down there making great contributions to whom? To the enemy. So that enemy taking advantage of those advanced cameras that they invented, taking advantage of the moon vehicles and so forth they invented, can from 500 and 600 miles out in space rain death and destruction on black people on this earth. And therefore, if you do not prepare the appropriate economic and political circumstances in which your children are to operate, they will be hired and be used to destroy you as an individual and to destroy you as people. I will talk to you later on when you look at a Colin Powell who sits at the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, so-called leading the American Armed Forces, and the very first time he leads the forces, he leads them against black people. Right. How many of you saw 60 Minutes last week? Yeah. How many saw this colored lady sit there and defend racial discrimination? As a result of investigation in New York State, 2 black people exposed activities by major employment agencies, I mean tons of them in the state, who were through code discriminating against black people. And 2 black employees left those agencies because they were sick and tired of the discrimination that was going on. And of course you saw old Amos there trying to take all the credit. What was it, Cosmopolitan Employment Agency? Yeah. Owned by Norrell. And of course the CBS crew ran a standard experimental deal where they made a resume, sent a black woman, and then sent a white woman. And of course you know the tale. No job for the black woman, and this white woman walked in 10 minutes later, jobs all over the place, even offered a cab fare to the interview, offered to walk into the subway, the whole bit. The woman vastly more qualified than the white woman. What is the white woman typing, 50 words a minute with 15 mistakes? Black woman, 72 words a minute, 3 mistakes. That kind of stuff. And now they decide they will go to the spokesperson or whoever it was for the company, and lo and behold, who's sitting there to defend the company? And it was a chilling experience to watch her whole body language, her whole expressionless face, and how far and abstracted she was from reality. As the announcer presented her with the memo, where the memo was talking about the practice, and she says, this is not on, she says, our letterhead is not on this memo. We are proud of our letterhead. How far is that from NASA as we sit? Coming from anywhere. We are proud of our letterhead. And yet this kind of game goes on and on. And this is what you're headed for. And this, students, is what you are being prepared to do. You are being prepared to put a black face on white power and to defend white interest. And you must be ignorant of history or misread it in order to play this kind of game. That's one of the reasons why they don't want to put in there correctly and have it correctly understood. Just read one part of something here for a second. And I use this illustration. Some of you who may want to see a more extensive discussion of this particular article in the Omni magazine, February 1984, titled Timeless Minds. You might want to get the lecture I delivered from Brother Brown here at the House of the Lord Church. What was it, 2 Wednesdays ago, I believe, where I talked about it. And then I discussed it more extensively at African Echoes over a year ago, and Brother yourself probably can cue you in on that. I'm just going to read only a fraction of this because it's so filled with meaning. It reads, when I wake you, the past will be gone. Dr. Bernard Aronson of the New Jersey Neuropsychiatric Institute told a deeply hypnotized student. We discussed in that lecture I just mentioned in the House of the Lord about the fact that we as a people are in a chronic state of hypnosis. You're in hypnosis right at this moment. These classes that you're going to are hypnotizing you. And I talked about what hypnosis meant, and I impressed upon the people the fact that